Every now and then, the algorithm throws you a bone. I was working on the zigzag route video, and the issue of modern bias came up again. This same problem had come up in evaluating the clothing, and the issue of the clothing was covered by a 12-year-old YouTuber named Archie Siddiqui. And it seems that now most people agree with what he said in that video.
Irvin and Mallory's clothing system formed a sophisticated and effective clothing system which was adequate for the summit attempt.
And while that is Siddiqui's conclusion, he also supports it with a review of why the clothing they took was adequate, and if you have not already watched that video, I highly recommend it. The same problem of modern bias exists when it comes to looking at the hobnail boots and Mallory's choice of routes, and that is, we assume that people from the 1920s were stupid. Interestingly enough, when researching this issue, I came across a video from Carolina Zabrowski titled, "Why Do We Act Like People in the Past Were Stupid?" She is apparently some type of fashion historian, and she goes into depth about the problem of modern bias. I'll look at this brief clip of hers where she is having a debate with herself about modern winter clothing compared to natural fiber clothing. It is a humorous piece, and you'll probably pick up on what is happening fairly quickly.
Look at our high-tech complex winter garments. Boy oh boy, can you believe that people in the past used to wear natural fibers that didn't offer any protection, while we have discovered all these windproof and waterproof fabrics that are so much better and safer. But indigenous communities and, early polar expeditions survive low temperatures using sustainable garments, whereas you create a lot of pollution, to be honest. Shut up! Modern smart? Old-timey stupid, okay?
I did a search of the Himalayan database and confirmed that Carolina Zabrowski never climbed any of the Himalayan peaks, and yet she understands an issue that has plagued the Mallory and urban community for years. It could be this plague has been caused by the fact that the people touting the benefits of modern clothing are generally sponsored by the manufacturers of said modern clothing. And where this is relevant in evaluating the zigzag route is to understand that hobnail boots were lighter and better suited for climbing on rock. Thus, as you try to work through the issues with the choice of routes before I release the zigzag video, you should consider that Mallory knew his hobnail boots would not perform well on a steep ice slope. Climbing such a slope would require substantial work in the form of step cutting. This explains Norton's preference for the higher traverse across the couloir, it explains Smythe opting for the same thing, and it explains why Mallory would choose a rock route instead of an ice slope that neither Norton nor Smythe ever reached. Now, I know people like to work through these things on their own, and I see them out there theorizing about the zigzag and the couloir routes. As a final hint before the zigzag video, you should include all the information available about the route Mallory and Irvin took. There is the ice axe. It doesn't matter if it was left on the way up or the way down. At some point, they were at that location or above it. It is not realistic that they were below the location and threw their ice axe up and it just happened to land there. There is the oxygen bottle. Now, there are 5 different reported positions of the oxygen bottle, but it doesn't really matter which of those you use, nor does it matter if you have them caching the bottle on the way up or dropping the bottle on the way down. As soon as you analyze those 2 pieces of Mallory and Irvin's route, you'll see there is not so much a mystery about which route they took. And as a final clip, as people say I never say anything good about the 1999 team, but only bad, I'll leave you with this clip from the 1999 expedition. As a note, the 1999 team includes several people whose work I frequently refer to in very positive terms, namely Liesl Clark, Dave Hahn, and Andy Politz. And in this clip, Andy Politz sums up the whole thing perfectly.
So of course, any rational thinking man would know that he made it. Guys who don't think he made it are just all tied up in knots. Just relax, he made it.